another edition of the Daily Voices FCIAC Football Fast 5. Everything you need to know about Fairfield County High School football, all in about 5 minutes. I'm Eric Gendron, and with me once again is former Stamford High School head football coach and agent for JL Sports, Kevin Jones. Kevin, you ready to break down week 1 of FCIAC football?
I am so excited to do this. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, let's recap our game of the week from last week, Ridgefield, Greenwich. Kevin, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Why do we keep picking against Greenwich?
I don't know. Hey, listen, that's why we're here. We're not playing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked at it, in the stands, and I watched Greenwich first play of the game go play action over the top, 70-yard touchdown from Mello to Joe Kelly, and I think the air kind of came out of the balloon for Ridgefield. So, Jose Mello had a great game, backup quarterback. He's playing on one leg. He goes 11 of 18 for 246. Very impressive. Greenwich just looked so good all night on both sides of the ball. If I'm Ridgefield, I'm really worried that, Greenwich's front seven should have been paying rent because they were living in Ridgefield's backfield all night. And Connor Rowe, who's a very good quarterback, made some great throws down the field, but they were few and far between because he was running for his life. So Ridgefield's got to get that shored up. They're still a good football team, but I think they got kind of punched in the mouth early and never really recovered from it on Friday night.
All right, we had a wild one at McMahon High School this past week. It only took one game for the Senators to turn the page on its 2011 Heartbreakers and finally come up with a clutch late touchdown and win a close game. How much of a mental boost is this victory over Ward for the Senators?
Well, when you have a kid like Javon Forney, he had a 98-yard touchdown run, he had a 90-yard kickoff return, and a 79-yard pass reception to win the game. Fairfield Ward's defense is still looking for him. This kid's still running. So when you have a kid like that, it's going to be a great mental boost because now McMahon knows that they can score anytime they touch the ball. And going forward, that happens in week 1, you win a game like that going forward, it's a tremendous boost. It's going to give your team a lot of confidence, especially at the high school level. I'd be a little worried about the fourth quarter collapse and letting Ward get back in the game, but you analyze the film, you get that shored up, and McMahon's ready for a very good season.
All right, and Staples finally had their first home game under the lights. St. Joe's gave them a little bit of a scare there. It was very close the first half, but Staples pulled away. Was this just opening night, first time under the lights jitters for Staples, or how much stock can we put in St. Joe's being a contender again?
Well, listen, we've talked about this before. The game's 4 quarters, not 2.5, and for 2.5 quarters, St. Joe's was a really, really good football team. And if they play their next game 4 quarters like they did the 2.5 against Staples, they're going to give people fits, and they're going to be a really tough win for anybody. But they didn't do that. And Staples, the bottom line in every game is the scoreboard, and Staples hung half 100 on that scoreboard. So not ready to call them a contender yet, but they've got a chance. But Staples looked pretty good when they got some adjustments done.
All right, we had a bit of a Groundhog's Day situation in week 1 here. All but one of the 9 all FCIAC games this past weekend were the same result as last year, the only exception being McMahon beating Ward. Are we going to see the very similar results throughout this season, Kevin?
Would you be disappointed if I said yes? No. Listen, obviously the first week, that's kind of an anomaly, I think, that all the games except for one turned out the same as last year. Well, let's look at the marquee matchups going forward. There's going to be some big games. They're going to really tell the tale of the season. So I'm not ready to say, this is the same old season this year. And the other thing to look at is injuries. If you want a case in point, last year when Milano went down against Stamford, New Canaan lost that game, and it really opened up the FCIAC race for everybody else going down to the end of the season. So let's look at, there's marquee matchups coming up. People are going to get hurt. Let's not throw the season away just yet.
All right, and that brings us to our Daily Voice Game of the Week this Friday, 6 p.m., Norwalk at Stamford. It's a tale of two offenses in this game, the pounding offense of Norwalk and the speed game of Stamford. Is this going to be one of the most evenly matched games of the season, Kevin?
I don't know, because it's 2 very different styles of play. And you look at Stamford with all their speed. They got some great weapons with Cameron Webb at running back, and you have John Passard and Jake Pavone at wide receiver, and Tyler Kane, who's he was 11 of 15 for 138 and 3 touchdowns, which is a pretty good day for a high school quarterback. But he also had 57 yards rushing, which is not what he's known for. So you look at that, and they're going to put a lot of athletes on the field, spread you out. If they can play the game on the perimeter, they're going to have a very good chance to win this game. Norwalk's so different. They're going to pound the heck out of you. It's ground and pound. It's MMA style, ground and pound offense. So I think the big matchup here is going to be time of possession. If Norwalk's going to control the clock and play in the middle of the field and grind that thing up and down, how many possessions is Stanford going to have to score points? And that's going to be the big story of this game. And the other thing I have to mention, because I lost a player that was very close to me, so we'll be honoring Marcus Dixon, who died tragically last Thursday night. And anybody who wants to come to the game, I'm sure it'll be a very emotional ceremony.
I second that. Yeah, come on out and let's honor Marcus. All right, that'll do it for another week of FCIAC football. Join us again next Thursday. Until then, I'm Eric Gendron.